Can you think of anything?
Long-term memory? I don't know. I have memories and stuff. I have memories and stuff from like growing up or whatever. But anytime I have an order number for food, that's in my head for the rest of the day and most of the next day.
Really?
Yeah, like if I'm like, because it's like anxiety when you're standing there, you're like, I don't want to miss my number, right? And you're like waiting for them to call out like 272 or whatever.
Do you remember your order number when we went to Gino's?
No, 70.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Apartment Shenanigans. Yeah, the the podcast where we just talk about all our favorite things and whatever we want to talk about that week. Today we're talking about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, starring Jake Johnson and the guy who plays Miles Morales, because I don't know his name.
Wow, way to be prepared, bro.
Some black guy. I don't know. I only know Jake Johnson because he's from New Girl. That's like what I know him from, and he was great in that show. But yeah, Into the Spider-Verse. We saw it opening night last Thursday, and it was good. I liked it, and it was me, Ben, and Jason, friend of the show.
Half crazy,
aka half crazy. What does he always say?
I don't know.
It's that thing.
It's his thing.
It is his thing, but I forget what it is now. But anyway, yeah, half crazy. He's been on the podcast a decent amount of time, so yeah. But Into the Spider-Verse, I guess I'm just gonna start with seeing the first trailer. I was not concerned.
I was let down. I didn't think it looked all that good.
Yeah, like the animation really messed with me.
I love that. That I didn't have a problem with.
The initial trailer, I saw it, I was like, what is this? And like specifically, I remember the scene where they're at the cafe and Peter Parker's eating the burger, and like the way the burger, like the sauces drip down his finger, it looked almost like Lego pieces falling off. And I was like,
what?
That's when
he was eating a burger.
It was in the trailer. I'm not even sure if it was in the movie. I think it was, but maybe not the exact scene. Yeah. But just I remember seeing the trailer thinking the sauce, the ketchup of the burger looks like he's eating like Lego pieces and just like sliding down his fingers. I was like, that looks so weird. But the trailers like didn't interest me that much, but like it was Spider-Man, so I wanted to see it. And Mike at work, he actually described it as I was like, it's kind of like stop motion mixed with animation mixed with...
Stop motion is a form of animation?
Yes, it is.
I think it just looks like classic anime mixed with comic book art.
Yeah, and the way he described it as like a kid making an animation, but then he purposely screwed it up to make it look janky and bad. I was like...
I don't think it did at all.
I don't think it makes it look bad, but... I don't know, the animation did throw me off at first, but going into the movie, like, it helped it. And it actually, I did find out that the animation, the way they did it, like they drew multiple incorrect lines to convey the screwing, the mess ups of like printing in comic books, plural.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, you said you liked the animation a lot.
Yeah, I had no problem with the visuals one bit. I thought they worked fantastic.
Why weren't you excited about the trailer though?
It just looked boring. Didn't look all that epic or anything.
Almost kind of like a just cash grab for the Spider-Man name.
No, not at all.
Really?
Yeah, it just looked like it was anticlimactic. Like it was going to be a side thing, like just for diehard fans, you know?
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, even like
it didn't look like there was going to be a lot. I mean, there's always plot, but like it just looked like a side. Like they just made a movie for a side universe character thing just because they could. Kind of like a 0.5 movie or something.
Like Lion King 1.5.
Yes. But that was more cash grabby, but yeah, just something like a straight to DVD type of release, you know?
So you weren't anticipating the movie at all?
No, I was like, oh, that looks cool. That's it.
Okay, then comparing from what you were expecting before the movie and then like after you saw it, like Judgment, I guess pre-Judgment to after Judgment.
I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I didn't think I wouldn't like it. Like I thought I'd be meh. It was cool, but like meh.
But overall, like I want to see it again, or
I would ahead of time. I was thinking I would watch it again, yes, but I wasn't even thinking that it was something worth going to see it in theaters. So
I was thinking I really wanted to see this in theaters just because of the animation. Similar to how you said like Wreck-It Ralph, like you want to see that in 3D because of all the visuals and like everything they can do in that kind of Disney animation. I was really
I'd say
looking
Wreck-It
forward to this
Ralph's visual aesthetic looked similar to Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse
you
had more of
added
a
comic
neon vibe to it.
Yeah.
I
If
think
you
that-
added like US comic book filter on top of it. There's a lot of it was just textured. Like the colors looked textured in Into the Spider-Verse, whereas in Wreck-It Ralph they were like smooth and vibrant.
It kind of actually reminds me of like just comparing it now the skin or suit you can wear in the Spider-Man game, the comic book one, where like it makes it look vintage and like a comic book. I'm curious if they just combined Into the Spider-Verse with that suit, if it would mesh well together.
I bet you it's on DeviantArt or something.
Maybe. I haven't checked that out I don't think. But story, what do you think about it? Was it good, bad? Just the plot itself.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad plot. I don't know anything about the universe or anything, or really care in general. Like, I thought it was a cool, entertaining movie, and the plot made sense. It worked well, but like...
I was about to ask, like, if it...
Without knowing really anything, it was like, okay, cool, it was an adventure, but that's about it. So I don't really know if there were any, or how impactful it was. Like, oh, there was this small reference and it ties all this together, because I'm just not a fanboy really of anything.
Yeah, like I was actually I'm curious to ask you, like, because I went into the movie knowing about the Spider-Verse comics and what they're adapting and some of the small little Easter eggs, but with you going in blind, like you said, was it like a like, I know a lot of comic book movies, animes or whatever, they can be really they can just turn you off. The story wasn't like too like out there or complicated or weird for you. You're just like, this makes sense.
I've seen enough anime, and like I knew how it was even before I really watched anime to like, it wasn't like convoluted or anything. It's not like there were a lot of time jumps, between present and past and future or anything. So it was easy to follow. It's just, I don't know, a cool Spider-Man adventure. It was like they strung a bunch of episodes of like The Amazing Spider-Man together. Or what was The Amazing Spider-Man was the 90s. Together and just made a movie. Like, that's about all that it felt like. But that's not a bad thing. Like, that's way better than, like, I think live action.
Yeah, I think just before being like animated and in the style it is, it was a lot better than a lot of the live action ones. Like, just because they have the freedom to do whatever they want animating it. Well, how would you compare it to the other Spider-Man movies?
What do you mean?
The other live action ones, and
I don't think it really compares because it's animated versus live action.
Even so, as a movie in general, as a whole.
What do you mean in a whole? Like,
just in general,
was it as entertaining?
As entertaining, did you like it more or less than the other movies? Sam Raimi?
I think it works better than the live action Spider-Mans. I like it better than Homecoming. So I think it works better because I think of Spider-Man as a comic book and as an animated thing. So seeing live action seems like the Netflix adaptation of it rather than like what it's supposed to be.
So then, since you were saying it has to be animated compared to the Spider-Man game, then
yeah, it was cool.
I mean, like,
it worked well.
Better, same kind of concept as it being animated. Could it be like the same as you're compared to live action? You can't really compare it that well.
No, I wouldn't say the game looks live action-y at all.
Oh, no. I mean, like, you saying because you can't compare Into the Spider-Verse to the live actions because
because they had a lot more control in like specifically animating it exactly how they wanted. Whereas in live action, you rely on the actor's skill and ability and who you casted for it. And partway through, you might be like, oh, he's not necessarily the best at this part in this scene. Like, we really wanted his like facial expression to be more like this. Whereas in an animated film, you just draw it that way.
Right.
That's
like,
it.
Even
you
like,
have 100% control over it.
And even just like all the scenes, they made it look like a comic book, and they had the comic book speech bubbles popping in, like the narration. Was Miles narrating the whole thing?
Was what?
Was Miles narrating the whole movie?
I don't think so. No, different people narrated it.
Yeah, you're right. When they like threw in their backstories and everything.
Yeah.
Which I really did like that. How every time you get introduced to a different Spider person, the first time it was Peter Parker, then Peter B. Parker, and they're like, I'm the one and only Spider-Man, or so I thought. And then they just went through the backstory so quick because like people all know the backstory, but it's just slightly different.
Right.
I thought I really like Gwen's backstory a lot because the fact that she was bit and then she couldn't save Peter Parker, and like they're just friends. And I know that happens in the comics, but I don't know any more extra detail on the top of my head right now. But yeah, what did you think about everyone else's backstory? The characters, favorite characters?
They were cool. I like that they added the ones in that they had. Like, I know a little bit of backstory of all of them, but yeah, I just thought that they fit well, and it made sense the way that the worlds collided because of the particle accelerator, whatever nonsense.
Were they was it the fact that Green Goblin threw Spider-Man into the portal thing? That's the reason all the Spider-Man came?
Yes.
Because
I think they got pulled out because Spider-Man got pushed in, and then he got out of the beam, and they got like sucked out because the particles, the separation between worlds and parallel universes, that line converged and became closer. So they like walked across that invisible line in New York, and then boom, they're in ours, or that universe.
But then when Kingpin was trying to get his like family, they didn't do it. Oh, I guess didn't they get their
They had
hair?
buildings change and stuff. Like,
well, I'm just trying to think of like
the universe the movie was mainly in.
how he was specifically trying to get his family. I remember they got a hair. I'm assuming of like his wife, but like just that hair, like to the pool.
They were using DNA to find them in parallel universes.
But then how were they planning on just like actually bringing them there, other than
Going in, grabbing them, and pulling them out.
I guess
Like, you don't lure them with a carrot on a stick. Like,
I guess because the Spider-Man, like, because every time you saw that the Spider people got sucked into the dimension or universe, they were legit pulled into it. Like, they had no choice. They were forced against their will to do it. So I'm curious if that's what Kingpin was going for as well with his family, or were they legit going to go to that side, like, hey, is your husband dead? We have one over here, and just go. So that's the part I'm confused about, of how that would work, or what he was going for exactly. And like, what makes him think that they were gonna freaking even be okay with living with him or being with him at all in the different universe?
he's evil. Doesn't matter. He's evil for the sake of being evil. He's just the universal evil or bad guy, so it doesn't really matter.
But they tried to give you like the sympathy because of the whole family thing, which like it didn't.
Yeah, they left him and he wanted them back because he was sad.
But well, they died. They left him and then died.
Fuck, well, okay.
Basically.
Okay. And so he wanted them back, so he found a way to get them from another universe or a parallel universe or whatever. So we did. Look at Steins Gate. What do you think he did the entire show and game and all of that?
But he wasn't.
Loved them.
But he wasn't trying to take a different Mayuri. He was just trying to save the one he knew.
Yes. By preventing her death in another parallel universe, because in that, it was the same person, just different universes with different outcomes.
Right.
Whereas in this, it was different universes that were completely separate. Same motivation is what I'm saying. That's it. You're like connecting
universes and
two
time travel is
parallel
confusing
things.
sometimes. Okay.
Yes, for you.
Hey man, for a lot of people.
I'm not saying it's not. You just have to keep in mind, it's all made up. It could just be
For
like,
now.
well, it's not made up for now. The show is made up, or the movie, so they can create whatever universe and rules they want in it because they're creating it. So they can make it work however they want. So it just explains away any issues you have with it because you're trying to base it off of what we know now. But this is in a complete work of fiction, so it could be however they want it.
You're right.
Yeah.
Gosh. What about Miles' motivation for truly becoming Spider-Man? Did you think it was good? Like, or do you think it's kind of like overrated or overdone that every Spider person has to have a close loved one die?
I don't know. People do things when people die. It's just a turn of events. He was young, so that's just what catapulted him into adulthood. It's not that shocking. A lot of people have that. They have near-death experiences, or somebody close that they really love dies or something, and it transforms their lives. So,
do you remember what his uncle said when he died to him? Like, did he say anything like to the lines of "great power, great responsibility" at all? I don't remember.
I don't think so. Maybe
because I think after it happened, he was like in his dorm room. All the Spider people came up, and then they were like, they all basically said, "Yeah, great power, great responsibility." Like, they all knew what he was going through, obviously. But like, I'm curious, is that just like a universal, almost like a divergence that has to happen with those words, or in some kind of way? I don't know.
Sure.
All right, well, pick your favorite Spider-Man of all or Spider-Person of all the ones that we saw. None?
Nope, don't have one. I liked all of them.
You gotta pick one.
Nope.
Really?
Really?
Okay, favorite character of the show or movie?
Any of the Spider people. They were all good additions. I liked them all. Like, they all brought unique things. I mean, there wasn't a lot from Spider-Man Noir or whatever, that guy from the 30s. Like, he didn't really add much to the plot other than being cool
kind
and
of comic-y and
yeah, neither did
dramatic.
Spider-Pig. It was Spider-Gwen mostly, and whatever her name, whatever the other girl's name was.
Penny. I don't think Penny had a big role in it either, though.
They focused on her a lot. It was easy to find her in the shots and stuff.
I think that's just the animation difference, though, because she was like more hand-drawn, but she didn't have much to do. Like, I can't even remember many scenes.
Not
with her.
that she had like lots of lines or anything, but like she was just more memorable.
Just because she was different, had a mech,
and she was different colors and stuff. Like, that's all.
I remember you mentioning, like, in the theater when I think it was when Miles was at the gravestone, you like kind of nudged me like, the snow looks so good.
Yeah,
and
I thought the snow looked pretty. Snow's hard to animate, dude. So's water.
I know water is, but
snow is really hard to get it to look good. So, like, it used to be grass and tree branches and bushes, and now it's like water and light effects and stuff.
Because when we saw it in 3D, like, when you mentioned that the snow looks really good, like, I started paying a little more attention to it, and like the 3D glasses like made it look like the snow was actually falling in like the audience in front of us. I thought that was cool, and I normally don't notice the 3D-ness of movies unless it's like really in your face, and that was like really subtle in your face, if that makes sense. But because of you like the snow and like just you were talking about the animation so much, what was your favorite? Do you remember like a favorite kind of like shot landscape scene or something of?
Yeah, when he was falling upwards but falling down at the end, the dive off the tower, or the crane or whatever.
Oh gosh, that
I really liked that a lot.
That scene kind of threw me off. Like, it seemed a little out of place for them to completely throw it upside down on you. And
I don't think so.
I don't know. It just seemed a little weird. What's it called? I think my favorite one was actually when I think it was in the same scene actually, or the same sequence when he like did jump. He started like actually do Spider-Man stuff, and he actually no, it was at the very last bit of the movie, he like was diving off a building and he like put his hands behind his head and like started falling.
He just fell backwards.
Yeah, he fell backwards, but then like he fell into his dorm room bed, and I don't know, there's like a really seamless transition. I really liked that because it looked pretty, and I don't know, you saw like him wearing the mask, and then it went to him without the mask laying in bed in the same position. I don't know. I thought it was really cool, and I like transitions, especially when they could do it that well.
Okay. I guess. I mean, it was cool, but I didn't think it was like an extra bag of chips or something.
Did you have anything that you really just didn't like about the movie at all?
The 3D wasn't all that impressive. Like, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't like crazy.
Well, what would make it like better? Like I guess comparing it back to like Wreck-It Ralph.
Huh?
What would make it better? Like comparing to like back to Wreck-It Ralph, how that 3D was
just more interaction with being. It was so Into the Spider-Verse was just like everything stood out from the screen like a foot or two. Whereas in Wreck-It Ralph, there was like more, it felt like coming into the audience.
Do you actually notice it when like it's just like a foot or two outside the screen? Like
I do.
Are you looking for it?
No, it just looks like it's not flat on a screen. It just looks like it's a projection. I see it too with projector screens, like in home theaters and stuff. Like,
really?
Yeah, you've never looked at the light shining out of a projector when you're standing right under the projector. You can see the images and stuff in it. That's what it looks like in 3D when they stand off of the screen like a foot or two.
No, I've never paid that close attention to the light of a projector. Like, I know you can, but like...
That's all.
I don't know. I think 3D is just really overrated in general. Like, every time... I
don't think so. I like it. It's just not everything works well in it. Like, animated movies work really good. But live action is just kind of meh.
Like, I think like the first movie that like really started the 3D trend was Avatar. And
I never saw that in 3D. Well, maybe I saw it on a 3D TV, but I didn't think it was that impressive.
And that was like how long ago? Because
like 2012.
That was like the kind of like when 3D TVs just started up. Yeah, so probably not good at all.
It's not that it wasn't good. It's just, it wasn't like, oh, it's in my living room. There's aliens standing in my living room. Because 3D never is that. That's holographic projection, not 3D.
I remember when Avatar came out, like Quentin was saying you had to see it in 3D because I think he said he saw it pretty close to the front row. And I remember he was explaining like when they were in like the forest section of Avatar and they're like touching all the leaves and branches, and when they're glowing and popping it open, he said that looked really cool and it was like really in your face. But I'm not sure if that was because Avatar did a good job with it or if it was because of how close he was in the theater seeing it. Because I actually didn't see that movie in 3D, but in general, when it comes to movies, I don't go for 3D movies. I more go for like the IMAX and better sound. Because I think that's cooler and better than possibly seeing something pop in front of you. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to it. I just zone into the screen and forget I'm even wearing the glasses.
So then doesn't that just mean that 3D is really done really well?
I guess, but if I'm gonna see a movie in 3D and even pay extra for it, I want to be able to see. But
if you notice it, then it's not exactly well done because it should just put you in the scene. Yeah. Whereas if you notice it's there, then it's like, oh, it's not all that great because you notice it's there. It's like a really good TV will look like it's just a window to whatever you're viewing versus, oh, I'm looking at a TV hanging on my wall.
I guess, but I don't know. It's the fact that when I'm seeing it, and even if I don't notice that I'm wearing the glasses and I'm watching the movie and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is 3D, and I need to kind of remind myself, I feel like I should be wowed when I see the movie, and I should be surprised when something's happening. I'm like, wow, that looked really cool. Like, that was really in my face. Like, I kind of want
you
that.
have unrealistic expectations and I don't think you really realize what it's trying to accomplish. I think you have skewed, what you want, like, expectations. Like, it's not going to be like the whole movie's, wow, stuff's almost hitting me in the face, like their laser beams are like whizzing past my head, because it's not gonna do that, or nowhere near that. The closest you would get with that is watching something in VR, not 3D in a theater with a 24-foot screen or whatever. Like,
maybe I do. I just have bad or high expectations, but I don't know.
I don't think it's high. I think they're just wrong.
Thanks.
Like, not like it's your fault, but like a lot of people have that too, where they're like, oh, we're gonna be like the stereotypical like red and blue glasses where people are dodging things in the movie theater because they think it's gonna hit them. Like, it's not what 3D is like.
Maybe it was like the advertising that they did back in the day is what makes me think that
it could be. That's what they tried to do before, but that's not how it's gonna work now, or doesn't work now. It should be subtle, like technology, like phones and smartwatches or whatever, should just seamlessly fit into your life and help you accomplish a task without you really noticing that they're there. But if you're constantly like thinking about it and consciously like having that thing there, then no, it's not very well developed. It's just unrefined. It should just be a smooth transition and elegant to where it just feels natural, like you're just sitting there looking through a window at, you know, whatever animals in a zoo or something, versus like,
what made you think of a zoo?
Because it's a big window and you'd be watching, you know, animals in their natural habitat.
You make me think sometimes, man.
You're welcome.
It's not always a good thing. It's like,
reevaluate your expectations for life.
Or specifically for 3D movies.
Yeah, life. Life is a 3D movie.
Life's
that you get to put.
Life's a 4D movie.
What are the 4 dimensions?
No comment.
What's the 4th dimension?
The Spider-Verse.
That's terrible. It's not even a good one. It's not even good because it's bad. It's just like a reach.
Alright, what would you say then?
What? The 4th dimension? There is no 4th.
I know, but what would you say?
That there isn't one?
If you had to say one.
There's not. The 4th would be one that we haven't discovered yet. There may be a 4th dimension, but we can't observe it yet.
And why do they call 4D rides and entertainment?
Because it's
4D?
Audio, visual, like the seats moving. You can't see me, guys. I was shaking. And then like wind or whatever, like blowing and stuff.
I've had wind blow in a movie theater. No, wait, no. I lied. That was a
like
friend.
When you're in the tree in Disney World for A Bug's Life, that's a 4D thing.
I don't think I've done that.
You didn't go in the tree in A Bug's Life in Disney?
I don't think so.
Where like you can hear the ants like walking up the like tree or whatever.
Not ringing
maybe
a bell.
Is it the Tree of Life? Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. Like it's not a ride, but it's like a experience thing.
I mean, one of the 4D things.
But yeah, you go in the big tree at the bottom, and then you like. It is A Bug's Life because once you go, you wait in line and you're inside the tree and you can hear the show going on in front of you for like the people that got there before you because you're waiting in line, and you can hear all like the bugs and stuff, and you see like shadows through like what looks like layers of tree, like as they like walk up to get on stage or whatever, up where you sit in the tree, and you can hear them, and like you have like if you go past a speaker, it'll be like.
Wait, do they still have this right now, or is it?
I don't know if they do.
Because
it was there when I turned 18.
I either haven't gone on it, or I was too young and don't remember it.
I don't know. It's a pretty classic one. I'm pretty sure it's still there.
One of the 4D things I do remember is the Shrek one at Universal.
I've never been to Universal, so
it was just like you were legit just in a movie theater, and the seats like shook and moved, kind of like a roller coaster that sat in place. And you like went through just some adventure with Shrek and Donkey, and maybe Puss in Boots was there. and you like rode the dragon like through some things, and like there's like fire breathing stuff, and like they just like put the heaters on like really high and like blew it at you. And when you're like riding through the thing,
that's a 4D
the seats were like
adventure.
shaking, and you could feel the wind at your ears. Yeah, that's the only 4D thing I've experienced.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about this Bugs Life thing. I'm curious if it's still around.
Pretty
like,
sure it is.
You said Disney World? Disneyland?
The one in Florida.
Disney World, okay. I was there recently. I didn't hear. It's probably gone. I don't know. I could be wrong. Don't quote me.
That might be the Tree of Life. I don't remember.
Like it's called the Tree of Life?
Yeah, it's a big, like, it's not Grandmother Willow, but like I think her face might be in the design of the outside of it or something. Like it's a big, giant concrete tree. It had to have been Disney. I don't think it was like.
But that's Pixar though. Bugs Life. And if you said, did Disney already own Pixar by then? Maybe it was like maybe it was a Lion King
Just
thing.
look at it right now.
Making me do things.
Oh no. Yeah, because I can't really remember like Cedar Point or any other places that we went when I was a kid, so I'm pretty positive it was Disney. But
All right, Google Tree of Life at Disney, and the first thing that comes up is Walt Disney World Resort. So I think you might be right. Animal Kingdom attractions. That's why me and my brother skipped Animal Kingdom, because we wanted to go on all the roller coasters.
you're lame. That's why.
No, because
you're
Animal
lame.
Kingdom doesn't have like any of like the fun roller coasters. Like that's what we were there
Disney
for.
isn't about roller coasters, my dude.
Dude, Disney is about just having fun and being.
It's not about roller coasters. That's Universal. The Dumbo ride is not
My
a
bad.
roller coaster. Teacups aren't.
You're right. Yeah, we went to Universal. Not.
The
God,
Wonderland one. It's Small World.
it's just.
None of those are roller coasters.
I was wrong. I said something wrong. I'm sorry.
You are a terrible, like, heretic right now. Not really heretic, but you were bringing shame on your Disney fandom. Like, you don't even know, and I do.
There's a
Me
difference.
of all people.
There's a difference from Disney fandom and Disney World fandom.
Yes, but still, there's a lot of overlap. If it was a Venn diagram, that wouldn't be like a normal looking one.
I wouldn't say it's like a lot of overlap though. Like,
Sure, it is.
like
To have Disney, you have Disney World. You have to have Disney.
You mean to have Disney World, you have to have Disney?
That's literally the sentence I just said.
No, you said to have Disney World, you have to wait.
Have Disney. You just repeated it a third time now.
I don't know.
You're losing it, dude.
Gosh. Oh god. Make our way back to Spider-Man. One thing I did want to I brought up before, the Stan Lee cameo. I don't know if this was his last one.
No, Avengers 4 is.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wasn't sure if they confirmed if he got his last cameo in for that movie.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what they said. The internet.
the internet said it.
Yeah, man.
Because, God, I was just talking to Mike about it today, or if it was yesterday. His cameo in this was just so sad. Like, even like Jason sitting next to me and like some people behind us. Like, it happened right after a death of someone, and he's a clerk in a store, and he just looks at Miles, the main character, and he just says, "We're really gonna miss him," and he says some other stuff.
I guess you should go look.
Do you have a delivery? Because that someone just knocked on our door. Why am I looking?
Because you're closer.
Oh god.
Just look through the people, bro. What is it?
I think our DVDs came in.
They were supposed to go to my fucking work.
Yeah, Stan Lee's death, cameo, sad. It was nice that they put that little small quote at the very end of the movie. I'm sure that they added that after his death did happen, but last thing I want to ask about, did you think they were seagull baiting at the very end?
Maybe. I don't really care if they were. It was good enough that, like, I think it deserves a sequel, so.
All right, and I guess last thing, I just want to look at like what the reviews are of it. or scores. It looks like Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 97, Metacritic 87, and Common Sense something a 5 out of 5. Out of your cryptic 0 out of 10 rating, Ben, what would you give the movie?
My cryptic one? It's not. I'm just very critical.
Okay, strict then.
I'd say it was like a 7 or 8.
7 or 8. Okay. I would say 8.75.
359.
Damn, she fine. No, hit me one more time. Get low.
That's low. Not even the right numbers.
369. Damn,
359.
I know, and I was just playing off it the best I could.
So, yeah, keep your day job. You can't freestyle very good.
You said I could. I was just singing a song. Anyway, I think that's just about everything about Into the Spider-Verse. I think it's been like 4 days since we did see it. So had some time to marinate in our thoughts.
Yes, and by marinate you mean forget. That's the truth.
I mean forget for when it comes to you. You forget a lot of things when it comes to watching.
Anything.
You're right.
I have limited space to remember. I got a lot of things going on, man.
How many gigabytes you got up there?
I don't know. Like 4? Maybe. Dude, I forget stuff at work all the time, and I have one giant whiteboard, a small whiteboard, and then an actual ticket system to track my work, and I still forget stuff.
If you had to partition your 4 gigabytes of brain space, what would be like the biggest partition?
Life and self-existence. Like food and...
Is that like 3.6 gigabytes worth and everything else is just crammed in there?
No.
Like
not that bad. Your
operating system is just all of it, and then you just remember the essentials.
Yeah, basically.
Oh god, okay.
I don't know. If it doesn't seem important, I don't even bother try to remember it, because
how's that even like happen though? Like so many things I just remember for no reason. That's so
yeah. There's a lot of things I remember for no reason that I have no reason to remember, because that's what that means.
What is one thing that that you like that always comes up in your head? You're like, why the heck did this stay in my long-term memory? It's just the most pointless thing ever. Anything right?
Long-term memory? I don't know. I have memories and stuff. I have memories and stuff from like growing up or whatever. But anytime I have an order number for food, that's in my head for the rest of the day and most of the next day.
Really?
Yeah. Like if I'm like, because it's like anxiety when you're standing there. You're like, I don't want to miss my number. Right? And you're like waiting for them to call out like 272 or whatever.
Do you remember your order number when we went to Gino's?
No. 77, yes.
that was on Sunday. What the
heck? But yeah, so I'll think about it so much right there that like as I'm driving back to work, I'm like, my lunch number today was this. This is cool. And I'll just think of it randomly throughout the rest of the day for some reason. And like the weird. Next day some. I don't know. It's just how my brain works.
Huh. I'm trying to think of a random thing like that, but I can't. The first thing that came in my head was like how this is for everyone. Like a certain song will play, and then I just think of a certain memory with that one song, like specifically first thing in my head.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's
how a lot of people's brains work.
It's sung by the country people.
Yeah.
You know,
you're right.
That Fireball whiskey makes me whisper temptations in my ear.
Yes.
You know the song?
About it? Yes, I know the song.
Round Here. Is that
what about it?
It just reminds me of a night with some people from high school. I can't talk about the night actually. Never mind.
I mean, you can. You're an adult.
And
it happened in Mexico years ago, so it's not like you could be.
It was in Mexico though.
Okay, so it was in Mexico.
What?
That's what people say when they're like, oh, look how fast I'm going. They're like, this is in Mexico though, on a closed track.
never.
So they
heard
can't
that.
because if you show your speedometer and the police can figure out where you're at, they can give you a ticket after the fact if you put it on like YouTube or something. You've never heard that happening. You've never seen someone like compilation of people racing cars on the highway or whatever. Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, no, never.
Okay, well, that's cool.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.